you are still holding up, provided that, your husband passing and all that. So yeah,
Yeah, like
it's admirable.
thank you. Well, it's like I think that that's the key. I mean, when the poem Footprints is all about that. It's not that we don't go through difficult times. We go through difficult
Right.
times. That
Mhm.
God helps us through those difficult times by connecting to something that you love, connecting by giving and receiving of love. That's why I sat here waiting, because I'm like, I really do love to do
Mhm.
what I do. And mastery comes in doing, I'm not perfect. And that's
Yeah.
why, like I said, I'm always looking for topics because listen, there's really not that many ways, there's not that many things to talk about with shadow reading, with shadow healing. Everybody knows the steps of shadow healing. Everybody knows them, and we can only make them so fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
But how can we do shadow
Yeah.
healing daily, right? For ourselves
Mhm.
to stay clear, and how can we spiritually stay clear? So what I'm going to need you to do, and I really should have said, but before, is get your deck, your psychic
Okay.
soul healer deck, and I
Mhm. Okay.
because my deck might be in the other room, so I might have to go
Okay.
to the other room. But go get that your deck and
Mhm.
go
I
get
have it.
another deck, like on top of that deck, like a tarot deck. Because
Okay.
the topic today is again
Okay.
tarot and shadow healing. Like, how can we stay clear every
Okay.
day? What can we do to help ourselves? And I think, like I said, there's only so many ways. And yes, we will go over like the different ways and the different shadow healing prompts for
Mhm.
those that are new that have missed the first few times. And I think
Mhm.
that we will actually do the healing. So you and I have a date tonight, AD, like where we're like, it's like we're gonna be going through the shadow healing coach
Yes.
together, keeping
Mhm.
ourselves accountable is part of it.
Yes.
It's hard. It's hard.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna actually give a shout out to Omira because I have a feeling that Omira just might have forgot because a different it's
Day.
different, well, it's a different day, or she might have had something going on. I mean,
Mhm.
she's so consistent, but it's
Mhm.
like I said, I just
Yeah,
want,
she's always on. Like every time she's always, I think I've missed a few more than she has, but yeah, it's a different day. So maybe she just got lost track of time or something. Yeah.
you're allowed to miss a day, but I don't know
Yes.
whether or not you forgot.
Yeah. Of
I'm giving you a
course.
shout out. I picked the topic, and the topic is tarot and shadow. So we're going
Mhm.
to be doing some layering readings and just playing around with the cards and obviously prompting.
Mhm.
I wondered, like I said, I don't know whether Jason like Jason has missed a few and normally he gives a shout out, but
Mhm.
hopefully, like I said, I always try to send the recordings. So let
Mhm.
me just run to, I'm gonna run to
Okay.
the other cards. Gonna take
Okay.
that I'm so thirsty,
Okay.
and I'll be back in a second.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hello, hello.
Oh, hi. There you are. We were just wondering. Oh, okay. Maybe because it's the first time we meet on Sundays. She got busy or forgot.
So crazy. I put a reminder on my phone and still forgot.
Yeah, no, me too. I was late because the time on I put 7:15, which is 6:15 my time. So yeah, no, I was also late because yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, have fun. We're here. So yeah. She
Yeah.
went to get her tarot deck. Do you have
Oh,
it?
do I have a tarot deck?
Yes. Or do you have the one that Laura has, like the psychic healing oracle cards?
No,
Oh, okay. Or any tarot deck, because we were gonna play with that.
no, I have an oracle deck.
Okay, maybe that, yeah, that would be fine, because she told me to grab the one that I got from her,
Okay,
the soul healing oracle deck, and then any tarot set that I had. So I
okay.
have, yeah.
Let me go grab my. I only have
Okay,
an oracle one.
okay.
So Heidi, are you Latina?
See,
Ah, nice. Where you
yeah, are
from?
you?
Yeah, I'm Boricua.
Okay, okay. I was born here in Houston, but all my family is Mexico.
Mexico. Okay,
Yeah,
nice, nice.
Mexico. But no, I speak the language and I'm
Yeah.
Hispanic, but yeah, both languages. So
Oh, me too. Yeah, yeah, I'm
yeah,
bilingual.
you're so pretty. That picture you have is so pretty. I've always wanted to say that, I just never did, but you're so pretty.
Thank you.
Your hair, I love your hair.
Thank you. I keep my camera off because every time I'm in we meet, I'm in bed with my pañuelo on
Yeah,
my head.
kind of me too. Well, sometimes, yeah. I'm not in bed right now, but yeah, sometimes me too.
I'm so glad. I knew I,
Yeah.
I,
I was telling Heidi that I actually put a reminder in my phone and still forgot to log on.
that happens. That's why I said, I have a feeling. And I said, oh, Myra's so good, but I said, I know, let me give, because I actually have your number where like Jason, I think reached
Yeah.
out once and I should reach out to him too. And I feel bad because he's like regular, but it's a different day. And I've been wanting to there's only so many prompts I was saying that you can do for shadow
Mhm.
healing. So we're gonna run down those prompts, but I wanted to do something fun because I think shadow healing can be, first of all, why would we be consistent? It's boring. You know what I mean? It's like, and how can we even do it?
Mhm.
Like to be consistent, like, I mean, to be honest with you, like some of the prompts are you have to we all know that we have to meditate and do reflection work and journaling and all that. But the majority of times people don't do it because it's not fun. Let's face
Mhm.
it, we're all like a little bit kids at heart. And so I always say, like, even it doesn't matter if it's my deck or not, I still want to send you my deck, um, Myra, because I think I still have a few spares.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
also have like workbook, like I said, so send me your address because
Okay.
I gotta tell you, I I am so like I made a lot of mistakes with my business because I'm not present most of the time. It's like I'm learning to be present. And so the first time I did my deck, I went to this guy that I knew he wasn't going to do a good job, but I still hired him because I felt bad for him. And he took things off the internet. And so he made an Oracle deck and he copyrighted the cards. And so
Mhm.
I had made, like, the first time I ordered the deck too, the logo, wait, he didn't listen to me. The card was not what I asked for. I wound up paying for it. Then I pay for another whole thing and it's not, they're copyrighted. So then my friend Kayla, who's my graphic designer, said, Laura, you can't use these cards. These cards are like all over the place. And I said, like he said that he flipped them, he changed them, you're still not allowed to do that. So long and short, I have like about 200 workbooks that like all I ask for is $5 so that I can send it to you. Otherwise, like I said, it would be really expensive for me to keep, sending
Mhm.
the book. But it's like I don't charge you for the book, but I came out with a new Oracle system where the words are the same, the images on the card are different, and the images in the workbook are different, but they're the same cards and it's the same system. So you can still, for those people that are grandfathered in, because I am changing the platform, because eventually what I noticed that some people from Scorpio channel signed up, some people from Virgo channel signed up, and we're all kind of smushed together. And that's okay, but Zoom is not going to be a big enough platform. It's not going to be a good enough platform. So
That's right.
we're switching over to school, and there's
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, they're gonna promote the whole thing. The guy reached out to me and said, listen, you have the following, you have this. And I said, well, this is my dilemma. And I said, because eventually when I would wanted to teach on YouTube, but the thing is, the Scorpio people can't get on the Virgo can't get on, and everyone signed up on however, and it's too confusing. Patreon
Yeah.
confusing. So you guys will be grandfathered in, but eventually, like, if I'm gonna raise the price by like $1 or $2, not a lot. I want to keep it very affordable because healing is something that no one really wants to do or pay for. Let's face it. I just want to see the fucking results.
Yeah.
And make it fun. Make it fun and make it, or I'm not showing up.
Yeah.
And not, let's face it, it has to be like we're kids like at heart. And we have to get something out of it, obviously. So in this workbook, I have, which I love about this, is we have different oracle card spreads. So a lot of times we're like, okay, well, I don't know how, like, I don't know how to, how to clear, let's just say, healing trauma, or here's one, healing ancestral trauma, or healing the emotions caused by physical pain and illness. Like, there's all different types here. I think I have over 30, and so I'm just naming a few to guys keep an ear out to see which one you would like to start with today. Again, there's the 8-card spread of health. There is the 13-card spread to assist in resolving issues between two people. There's the Dark Night of the Soul spread. There's the Soul Healing spread. There's the Horseshoe spread, Past Life Reading spread. There is the Build a Relationship with Your Guides spread. There is the Soulmate spread. There's
So quick question, just what is the difference between 13 card spread to assist in resolving issues between two people versus the soulmate spread, the 6-card soulmate spread?
It would be the questions. It would probably be the questions that are in there. It's not just like one. If it's 13 cards, it probably goes deeper into asking like more different questions. But then there's also the dead, what's dead inside of you spread, and then there's the shadow spread. There's a
I saw.
maybe we'll do the shadow spread. I kind of like that one. And then there's a lot. There's, like I said, there's cutting cords spread. So if you guys want to do that, there's making a difficult decision, clearing and amplifying your energy spread, chakra clearing spread. So that like I said, there's a lot in here. I don't want to balancing and clearing the third eye. So which one do you guys want to do? I named a lot. There's balancing your heart chakra, your throat chakra.
There's a lot of there's a lot of spreads. I mean, I guess it really, to me, it doesn't really matter which one. I just want to know how. I feel like it's really the question, because we can use any one of these, but it's really the intention of the question, like have a clear question on what it is you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
That's what I kind of feel that is. So
That's
I mean,
without using, that's why it said to really know, and let me tell you, in the beginning of this workbook, it tells you that. In the beginning of this workbook, it tells you how to use the cards. I tell you how to use the cards.
I didn't read it. You know, you know that
Yeah,
inner
'cause
child in
there's
me.
the
I
7
don't want to read it.
steps.
Give me again.
Yeah, because I'm like, wait, I know that. I was like, I wrote this book. I said you didn't read it because
Let me just ask Laura. Tell me what this means.
what?
Because remember that day I did that spread that I text you about? I didn't read it. I just like went to the spread. I did it, and I'm like, let me just ask Laura, how do I read this? Because I don't understand.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait a minute, I didn't understand. But see, it'll tell
I
you
did it.
like
Yeah,
before when you get the cards, did you clear your cards? I mean, you need to clear
that I
the
did
cards.
because I'm familiar with that process. I did that, but how to interpret the cards is what.
Ask the right
But
question
I'm
is
asking. Yes,
key.
that's the key. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll tell you, that's what it says. Like most intuitive tools, oracle cards will rarely give you a simple black and white answer. Your card
Mhm,
guide you to the highest self, can help
mhm,
lead you, but don't expect definite answers. So again, it'll lead you to what you're looking for. But understand what it usually, oracle cards usually make you have to pull more than one card. That's why the topic today is again tarot and oracle cards. It is not just oracle cards. Why?
What's the difference?
Because or tarot cards are very direct. It's like
Ah,
this is what's happening, and that you can tune into a different reader every, like the same reader every day. And if you'll notice, a lot of times the story is the same story. It's just differentiates a little bit, and it's because this person then decides to do this. Now this person does this because there's many different levels of reality. Your level of consciousness determines it. So again, if you handle the situation this way, this is what will happen. If you handle it this way, this is what will happen. If this is, so tarot will tell you exactly what this person's going to do. And then why, again, where oracle cards make you dive deep within yourself. They make you again think more, to ask more questions, to dive deep. It's a never ending story. And if you'll notice, it's different story every day, even if it's the same topic, because it's a different perception and different perceptions, especially due to your emotional state. You'll be surprised how your emotional state, that a lot of times we're unconscious to. I know that I'm like in a kind of depression, and I know that because it's like I'm like buying a lot. And it's like I had to say, oh, I need to like chill out. I mean, that wasn't a ton, but it was like, well, I need to change the living room energy. So let me, go spend $500 here. That, it wasn't anything outlandish, but it's still not in my character to normally, and so I know when I have a shadow because it's also like how I'm feeling. So you would and I'm using myself as an example just because I'm being guided by spirit to say, hey, this is what's going on. Like right now. And it's like, that little shopping thing that you went on, and we all have this here. And it's like, it must be a shadow we all have. That's why spirit is leading that. And it's like, and so he says, you don't know that emotionally you're depressed because you weren't allowed to have emotions. So it's suppressed and you just don't feel well and you're just trying to change the energy and it's like a dopamine hit. That's how you know that's your addiction. You want to know why you attract a person that has addictive personality with sex. Well, God says one addiction, different addiction. It's an imbalance. Imbalance goes to imbalance. It's a shadow that needs to be integrated, and it's from suppressed emotions. And those suppressed emotions really are partially handed down from our liturgy, and it's also like collectively. And there's been no education about spiritual health, and without spiritual health, you don't have health. because your mind is your body's faithful servant, right? Your body is your mind's faithful servant, rather. And so what'll happen is you'll wind up getting sick. You'll wind up getting, like I said, you'll wind up cutting yourself off from that unconditional love, and that's how you know. But where you people a lot of times we don't know. So hey, Shala, let me just like get you up to queue because we kind of started late a lot. It was a funky time that this week because normally we're not on Sundays, and we're all like kind of like on autopilot. We tend to like be creatures of habit. So you throw a little change in the loop and it's and it's and that spirit saying that's how balanced like grounded. So I was saying, how do you know when you have a shadow? So using myself as an example, and it was because we all tend to have that imbalance. That's how spirit works. So you have the same imbalance. That's why you're here. That's like, and it's that shopping. It's like over shopping. Like, how do you know when you have a block? And we say, well, why do we attract crazy people? People that are so wounded and where we don't perceive ourselves as so wounded. And spirit says there's only two energies, love and fear. So it's a little or a lot. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to, it needs to be there. Understand if it's a little, it's alarming because it's still cutting you off from love and it's irritating, especially when you love life and you want to live life to the fullest and the greatest life. And you're saying, well, why the fuck is this here? It's like, the spirit says, well, that's suppressed energy. And so you're not aware because of detachment and dissociation. It's trauma. It's like we don't remember everything. We're not going to remember everything. It's like ancestral, especially shit that it wasn't even ours. So it's about how can we stay spiritually clean every day to make it fun? How do you have spiritual hygiene? And I don't know if you don't have a workbook, you need to send me $5 and you need to, again, I'm going to send you the deck. I think I do have a few more decks of cards, not many, but I have a lot of workbooks and you'll need the workbook and you can use pretty much, can you use any, well, you can for the Oracle spreads, use any deck. However, for and the healing exercises, you don't need the deck. Because there's a lot of healing exercises and it explains to you how to do reframing exercise. It teaches you how to use the cards. It teaches you, again, there's over 30 different spreads in the workbook. So it's just, like I said, it gives you some sort of, how can I show up every single day? However, as I was saying before you came on, the difference between Oracle cards and the difference between tarot cards is that tarot cards are very direct and straightforward and straight to the point, where Oracle cards are not. Those Oracle cards will make you pull more and more and more cards to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into self. And when we're doing shadow healing, that's why we use, again, an Oracle deck. However, I like to use both because I feel like it's just not enough. It's like, because we want to know the other side too, even though spirit says it's not really important, the other side, but it's satisfying. So, and we all like for it to be satisfying. So we didn't really decide on a spread, but I am going to, should use a pendulum and choose and ask spirit, but just intuitively like pick one. And I think there was one like a soul healing spread. And I also wanted to just read to you something that I wrote up for you to well, cutting cord. Does anyone feel like they still need to cut a cord from anybody? Yes, no, if not, then
I
no.
do.
You
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I felt. I feel like everybody here still needs to cut cords, whether you're honest about it or not. Jayla, no.
Definitely, definitely.
Right. And then we're gonna do some clearing and amplifying some energy. We're gonna do a clearing attunement. I think that that suffice for the first time, Spirit says, because hey, like we all get bogged down with energy, like so, and what does Oracle cards do? It's helping you to clear energy, your mind energy, integrating the psychological and spiritual parts of self. And I like to use both. So I have a little tarot deck here. And I like my tarot deck because it's like I don't remember every single card and like thing is again, but mine have words on them that help to trigger you. And that's if you have my Oracle workbook, you'll see in every card has trigger words. And those trigger words are again, to help you trigger your intuition, because that's what it is. Now, when we're looking at our Oracle cards, we're like, and our tarot cards, we are always looking at the imagery, because the imagery really is the language of this of the subconscious mind, right? How does spirit speak to us? The universe speaks to us through signs and symbols that trigger our intuition. Now, tarot cards allow us to speak directly to our subconscious, just the same as oracle cards help us dive deeper and deeper into our subconscious. That's, again, another difference. I want to just move you guys. Now, the variety of characteristics and situations in a tarot deck really provide a detailed look at where we need to heal. And really, the big thing is how to go about our healing, because it's like, okay, like I know that I need to healing. A lot of times we know what we need to heal. We don't know how to do it. So again, tarot cards will directly say, this is the energy. It's again all about the energy. But again, when you're using layering of cards, which I love to do, because it allows you to dive deep and say, oh, well, I want to know why. I want to know why. I want to know why. It makes you again want to again dive deep. So there are a variety of again different scenarios that can play out, so you can actually see what you can do to shape shift your situation. If you can see like that you are like certain things are playing out in a way that wouldn't be most beneficial for you. Because tarot shows you where a problem is. Oracle cards mainly tell you how to heal it. I always pretty much feel like too, where oracle cards are like, it might tell you again a little bit about the imbalance. It's just not as direct. Now, again, shadow work is really, they make it like you need to be like it's like a horrible, like torturous thing. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be boring either. You need to again set up, I believe, a ritual. We're all, what did spirit say when we started? And one little change, and it's because we're all creatures of habit. And that happens from growing up in survival a little bit, like growing up where you had to be the adult, growing up always on guard, that you wound up being the role. That's why you're seen as sometimes the stick in the mud, the quiet one, the more reserved one, the one that it's again because of that, where you're just deep thinking, where you say, people tend to not like me. No, you don't. You again you got that a lot as a kid. So that's why you again feel that way, Edie, but it's not that. It's again, that's a shadow, like where again someone put that on you. So doing things like grounding techniques to really do before like any type of spiritual work is really important. And the reason why is because It's not about just being in your mind. There really is an astral realm, and that astral realm, there's different spirits. There's attachment energies, there's discarnate energies, there's darker energies. Why? What? Because when God had that war with Michael, like against Satan, though, and Satan said, I want to be like the top angel here, I want to be in charge, I want to share rule. And God said, no, I'm not sharing domain with you. Well, God cast the devil down to purgatory and took like 1/3 of their angels with them, and it rather, like, they roam. And so you don't know a lot of times what you are connected to. So you always want to really be safe when using, like, people tend to not think that it's a big deal. It is a big deal because you don't want to lay yourself open. When you're open, you can become more addicted to things. That's how it would really come out in our behavior, because we're not really like, we're so over the top. Addictive behavior is overbuying, overeating, over that. Again, it's a form of escapism, which is shadow. So
But I have a question, Laura.
mhm.
On the topic that you just mentioned, so to ground ourselves before any type of spiritual work. So I do understand what you say about the levels of energies that are not the best to tap into, obviously, or to attract, I get that. However, spirits all around us. And if we are using the tarot, for one card for the day, and I say this because this is something I started to do, but then I fell off, like I just to play with the tarot. I would shuffle the tarot and just ask for one card for the day. Like, what does my subconscious want to tell me for today? But I did not always, ground myself, meditate before, or I just, kind of,
Yeah, you didn't
so
think about it. But
no.
that's the thing. You
So, I mean, does that apply protection too? Like, that's not the best way to do that. I just want to make sure I understand.
I think that, listen, can I say that I always did prayer before? Did I always say no? I didn't. If
Okay.
anything, I was like the most laziest one. It's like
Yeah.
I would get yelled at by like my friends. But my friends, again, most of them practice Santeria. They said practice other
That's different.
because but they do say, I mean, and I've read a lot. Believe me, I've read a lot, and it's like, and it does apply. It's like, because you can back up everything in the Christian Bible when it is with the spirits, because Santeria is a form of Christianity combined with voodoo. So, or again, voodoo, like hoodoo. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's, I don't practice those parts. I only practice the one. However, when everything lines up like that, it's, again, there's a dark and light. I remember my one lady, she used to say, oh, you don't want to know the dark, but you don't then know the light. You only know the light when you know the dark. And she gave me a book called The Book of Shadows to read. And in
Mhm.
that book, it says it's a like all talks about all of that, and to dive deep, and there are all spiritual laws. I mean, it's just how it's taught, right?
Mhm.
Depending on
Mhm.
what culture you're taught in. And I've always, again, loved to learn. I found that very
Mhm.
interesting, because the more that you know, the more, again, I like it says in the Bible, look for me. And I did. I looked in every single religion. Jehovah's Witness. I cannot do no Christmas. Can't do it. You know what I mean? It's like, so understand, and God bless those people. Again, they can do it. It's like, and I'm no judgment, but it's like, I can't. I'm selfish. I want to, I want to celebrate. I want to have it. Life. It's, again, that's how I have a good time. And Spirit says, yeah, of course, buying yourself stuff. You know,
Mhm.
that's a whole other story. Anyway, so understand like tarot, how do we read tarot cards? Well, if you don't know, it's to know that the first thing that you should be looking at is the imagery of a
Mm-hmm.
card. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like the same thing, like you'll be directed to like make different like shapes and lines with your tarot cards and each spread. You can
Mm-hmm.
use the shapes as to like they represent stuff. So circles
Mm-hmm.
represent completion and closing out old cycles. So again, it's the type of spread pretty much is like
Mm-hmm.
what you want. And that's why, because it helps you with the intention. Everything is symbolization when we, just like oracle cards, like where it's like one thing leads to another. So it's the same thing with your oracle cards. What are you looking at? What triggers, what trigger words? So like like honor. What, like this word here, honor. It's like when you think of honor, what do you think? What are you called to feel? It's like what is the imagery? And so a lot of times this is the most difficult part of reading oracle cards. Because here we are and I'm saying, hey, on demand, I want you to think this. And intuition doesn't work that way. Intuition comes on when you're most relaxed and you're not really and you're like, I don't know, I'm just thinking about it. That's why, again, when you're a highly sensitive person and you have trauma, how do you know you have trauma? How do you know you have shadows? Well, again, spirit's telling me now within this group, it's because, well, it's delayed. Everything's delayed. It's like they said that, and then I said, why didn't I fucking say this? Why didn't I do that? Why couldn't I do this? Why
Mm-hmm.
didn't I do that? Now, if it was different, and so there's a sense of, again, that disconnect from body and mind, disassociation. That's what that is. That's that freeze mechanism. That means
Mm-hmm.
you get yelled at and you can't do anything about it. You can't run away. You're gonna get hit, it's like, and that's where that comes from, if you want to know. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's again, and that's part of the trauma that's passed down. It's not that we're not supposed to get hit, but it's also it would know that we don't feel safe then, right? So you want to every time, and also understand every time that you actually heal a wound, what you're doing is you're like clearing a pattern. That's what you're doing. It's not an unconscious behaviorism. That's what you're doing when you were doing that. So again, I said circles represent completion, squares represent stability, protection, strong foundation. So again, you want to be mindful of the type of spread. You might not remember, but I'll send you some of this information. Just remind me.
Mm-hmm.
Triangles represent power and manifestation. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's all different spreads, and just like you would do, I don't know if ever you had a crystal grid. Did you guys ever make a crystal grid? It's crystal grid, certain patterns mean certain things, certain stones. You use certain stones, so like an avitrine and a citrine, like grid will help amplify your abundance, right? They help with abundance because again, money represents money. So like you can do different things like to either help, even to all help access your psychic ability to a labyrite in the center. Again, that's that the tower like in the center needs to be the tallest. My point in sharing the whole grid thing is the correlation is symbolization. Everything is symbolization. And seeing it every day in there is, what is it? You're making the law of attraction work for you. You're not thinking about it. You don't care about it. There's no emotional connection one way or the other to it. It's just laying in. That's how you manifest. You want to know how to manifest? You detach 100%. What did I say that all of you guys have? Detachment and disassociation. So why are certain things more difficult do you feel? Well, it's a double-edged sword. And so it's the integration process. So again, we have to recondition and also always do shadow work. It's a way to be spiritual clear. You know, one thing that I loved, like when I watched the Tina Turner movie, was that Tina Turner had her Buddhist, like, spiritual practice as she was beginning to heal. She began to do a practice, and I believe that that's imperative for everyone. If you want to stay clear, you want to stay healthy, you have to stick to a spiritual practice. Why? Because we get out of balance all the time. We're emotional, and we were not taught how to really deal with our emotions. So there's a lot of suppressed emotions. There's a lot of, if we think about it later, we'll get to it later. It's not that we don't get to it. We'll get to it, but we get to it later. Like, and then we get angry. So understand you always want to do the self-reflection so that the later is not too far later, right? Because it's okay that if you don't get it for a day or a week, but what happens is months go by, and then that energy attracts other energy, and then it's like before we know it, it's just easier not to go out. And that's really what'll happen with the highly sensitive person, because then we get tired. All right, so again, squares, as I said, represents stability and protection, which I love. And
Which ones? What did you say? I didn't hear you.
the square represents stability and protection, strong foundations, and you want to use vertical lines, hold the energy of ascension, raising your vibration, which is the whole point of shadow work, right? Why we do it, which will evolve into the highest state of consciousness. Now, there's a thing which is a 6 tarot card spread for shadow work. Is this the right time for tarot spread? So you always have to say to yourself, is this the right time? Well, we're making it the right time. But really, you will intuitively be called, but please stick to a spiritual practice. But because what we saw today is we're all creatures of habit, where it's, again, it's just, I like to do things the same way. It's the same. That's why it's important to the way that you start your spiritual practice is the way that you'll continue your spiritual practice, even if it's not a long practice. And that might mean, like, Omira, like, I can see you doing it like right before you go to bed, where other people might do it in the morning, but I don't really feel like anyone's really a morning person here. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it kind of started, when I was playing with the cards, and I would just talk to myself and clear the deck. And what does my subconscious want to tell me for today? And I did that in the morning.
Yeah. And that's the
And
time to really do it.
yeah,
Like if you get up early,
yeah.
again, to do it, really have a day before your day. And
Not that I did that every day, but I kind of played with that a little bit. Yeah.
Right. And that's why I said it's whatever you're going to be consistent in. And that's, I understand if you're like, well, I can bounce back and forth. I just think what I notice is the way that I start something is the way that you can see the habit, the inconsistency, the habit, whatever it is. And where it's like we got to show up for ourselves. It's like, and it's hard to like give yourself that self-love. Like a lot of times it's not a way that we feel like that it is self-love. Like it's, again, there's no instant gratification. I mean, sometimes there is, but not like going out and buying yourself something. Let's face it. Now, let's see what else I have here. I don't want to bore you guys. So I like to always do first before I'm doing a reading, I might say, what is my emotional state? Is it the right time? So some people always say, when is the right time? When is the right time? Do you think it's the right time? First of all, is whenever you intuitively feel. But if you felt like emotionally off, and let's just say, like, oh my God, like I might lose my job. I'm flipping out, I'm flipping out, I'm flipping out, I'm flipping out. But that would not be the time to do a reading.
Okay. So the time that I did that spread when I texted you, that was not the time to do a
Yeah,
read.
well, you wouldn't get, no, because
No.
you get is what you fear. That's the energy. That's
Yes.
a lot of times. That's why they always tell you when you call up those hotlines, go and sit and read in a nice place and relax yourself and calm your
Hmm.
mind.
Well, Laura, on that note, so my confusion comes in, because sometimes I like to watch tarot readings on YouTube, and so you can watch, like, let's say one or two tarot readers, and I know they're pulling for the collective. It's a lot of different energies, but it resonates so much,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes I can watch one reader, and he or she will talk on a topic, and I'll go and watch another random reader, and I'm like, oh my God, that's the same message. But
Mhm.
then I'll get a private reading, and it's totally opposite of what.
Right, and that's because
Yeah.
I think it's because there's a sense of you don't need it. And that's the thing. It's like you don't need it. And I feel like the universe, listen, there was a time that if you went to a reader, they were they were very accurate for you, Omira. They were extremely, and that was when you were younger. And it's because you were not worldly, you didn't have a lot of your own concepts, you were wide open. You are not wide open anymore. You're like, again, if you're like, if I choose to, like, and that is, like I said, you're not wide open and you can read for yourself. So you resonate. It's like, again, the energy always goes to the person that needs to hear the message. And so you need to hear the message. So it's will always be random. Sometimes you'll be like watch one reader and you're like it resonates, but it's like the same type of message. It's like, but that's again for that other person that needs to hear that message. So I feel like, again, that spirit always directs you that your meaning at this time within your place, within your evolution process. You have to say, well, what was the takeaway? If I grew up in that type of environment, what was the takeaway if I had the blocks? And spirit says the intuition, but there's a lack of confidence. And that's what, again, so that's what that person that you were connected to picked up on, the lack of confidence. It's again,
Oh, I see.
and so understand where you seem gullible. All of you, really, all of you.
I
So
have a question resonating to the same question a little bit with that Omira was talking about. Because yes, I can resonate with what she said about seeing tarot readers, and some stuff really resonates and it's the same message and all that. And mind you, this is all new to me. I had never before 4 months ago learned about any of tarot, any of oracle, any of YouTube, like at all. Like I was oblivious. It was a reality that I had no awareness. So then it just opened up for me, and I was like, oh, what's going on? So then, very recent, I'll get a tarot reading, like Omira said, from one person and then another one, and I get totally different messages from those people and from what the YouTube tarot
but
resonated with.
I gotta tell you though, what I notice, there's a little bit of truth in every reading. There's a little bit of truth in every reading. However, some readers read from their level of consciousness. So
Yeah.
what will happen is they will view you from their level of consciousness. That's why in the Bible it says, don't go and get readings. Because if
Mhm.
you go to somebody that has only been cheated on, they're going to read you from a very negative perspective. They're
Mhm.
not able to read from a high because it takes shadow work. You have
Mhm.
to be clear conduit for spirit to really work through. And that means you have to do your work. It's like otherwise you can't really tell. And what I think is that you go to people, Omira, like that are not as high vibration as you
Oh
are.
yeah, that was in the past till I met you, Laura. You know.
Oh,
So
but that's what it
but
was.
I was just using that as an example, as you know, how you can hear something on YouTube and one or two, and even on YouTube, I'm very selective on whose
Mhm.
videos I watch because I know that's energy, and exactly like you said, you know, if they're reading from whatever vibration they're on as well, because I can watch a video on YouTube and the tarot reader's like, oh, I don't like her energy, you know, and so I don't watch her, you know.
Right.
Mhm.
But
And
that was before, you know. Now I get my readings from the best. So
oh, thank you.
No, yeah, like it's true.
I, well, because it's about teaching you how to do that. You actually have that divinity. You have that gift. You need to utilize that gift because of what's happening within the world. You need to be able to protect yourself and have
Mhm.
discernment. And that's how we think, because really, when in the Bible it said the next word would come silent, right? Silent comes like a thief in the night, like dark. So, which meant it comes in the mind and it's a gaslight. And so you have to again have discernment to be able to tell, otherwise, psychically, you're not safe. And that's why it's again, there's a real war on consciousness right now. And
There
that's
is.
and so we can heal. It's again, we can stay clear. Yeah, like listen, there's not, do you think that it's a combination? If you eat bad
Mhm.
physically, yes, you'll die eventually. However, if you are spiritually sick, you'll die a lot faster. If you live in survival mode, you will. So it's about evolving. We have to evolve into the highest states of consciousness, which is unconditional love, and understand by living it so people see the results. Because why would I want to follow what you have to say? I would need to see that your life was good. I would need to see that you were living life to the best of your capability. Why do I think it's like where God says, stop praying to false gods? Don't pray to false gods. No one's better than you. No one's better than you. It's again, don't, because then that's where they get the illusion that you should eat bugs and they can eat steak. You know, I mean, that's where that comes from. So you want to really, like I said, have discernment. Otherwise, you're not safe, and shadow clearing allows us to do that. So is there
Okay.
anything else what worth reading here? Because I'm like, do I want to even do that? Like, okay, well, we can do it. What energy can I expect to feel after the shadow work reading? So you can actually ask questions like this, which is, what is my current emotional state? What energies will come up during the shadow work? Which to be honest with you, I don't do that. I collect information to help me. And so sometimes, like you said, it seems important, but now like again, teaching the thing, saying that doesn't make sense. Okay. Hidden gift. So there's hidden gifts. Like, and there's also like, again, let's see, I'm just going to do a tarot spread and we're going to let's do a little fun. We'll start off with maybe a personal thing because it'll be different for everyone. And then I can teach you how to do it. So I gave you a few examples. You don't need to do any of those examples. Okay, who wants to go first? Okay.
I'll
So
be the guinea pig first and then Yeah, because today was a very interesting day, so I want to see what comes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the question? Remember how you ask the question. It is imperative here. And then we'll choose the type of spread that we're going to do. Since
Okay.
I just read like about the different shapes that will tell us.
Wait. Okay, so I'll give you just a little bit of background, then I'll say the question. Or
Okay.
does the background matter?
You
Or
can
no?
say, no, well, you know,
Okay.
make it more interesting for everyone.
Okay. For 2 years, I have been battling myself. Do I sell this house or do I not sell this house and move to another city? Because 2 years ago, I went through really deep heartbreak, and I'm kind of in a little better face than I was 2 years ago. But this house is where we lived, and there's an energy here, and I can still feel the presence. And I have changed it and added and painted and all of that. And this morning, I just woke up and I said, and I don't know, it's time to move. It's
Well, you know
time.
what it is, your husband or your ex, like, was in love with that house. That's his, and so he thinks about that house,
It
you
gets better.
living in that house every
Yes.
day, and it kills him, and that's what you're
Yeah.
feeling. And you're like, I don't even want the fucking house. That's you.
Okay, he called. Okay,
Ah,
I heard.
I knew it.
I hadn't heard from him. Nothing. Bleep. And today he called.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. And that's like, because it's eating away. I could feel that it's eating away at him. How much he gave up, how unfair it was, how this, but he didn't care about any of that when he was running around. So
Yeah.
you need to not feel bad because he's trying
No,
to
I don't.
play the game.
Yeah, no, I don't. But the question still remains. I want to sell and buy me a new home. And I've been kind of like this itch about moving to Austin, which is not that far from here. So the question is, I don't want to say should, but maybe that's the right word. Um, do I sell my house, and timing of it? I guess, how do I phrase that? Help me phrase that, because that's what
So
that's why.
I think that that would be, like they always say to ask questions around your question. So like a better example would be like, is there anything holding me back from like buying a new home right now? It's like, is there anything preventing me from blocking me? What would I need to do to, it's the
Okay.
phrasing of it. And like you
Okay.
said, which is, it's a more direct, it's a slight difference, but it makes a difference because it leads you to ask more questions. So like,
Okay.
so let's just say, is it the
Mhm.
right time? So we're gonna pull an oracle card.
Sorry. Okay, sorry, that's fine. Yes, is it the right time? Is that what we're asking?
No, we're saying, is there anything, maybe, is there any, yeah, is it the right time and is there anything holding you back?
Holding me back.
You know,
Okay.
so I'll ask the first one first. Is it the right time?
Okay.
And so we're just gonna pull. And we're gonna see, it's gonna say intrusive, intrusive, intrusive. Oh, well, you're gonna run into problems with the ex as soon as you sell this fucking house, because there's a part of him. I mean, this is where the psychic ability comes in, guys. So sorry, it's like, but I need to tell you that that's when this person's gonna, get really like come back, and that's why I'm saying it's like, because they don't want, they can almost smell it that you're gonna sell the house, and I think you told them, and that was the biggest
I
mistake.
know I haven't. No, I haven't. But I told him, I did say, I need to tell you something.
Yes,
And he
and
said,
that was
what?
it.
I said, I tell you, like, when I see you another time, like,
Nope,
this is
he
not
knew
a,
it. His intuition knew it. He knows it. He knows already that you have an itch, because there's a sense of like you really moved on, where before he had more control. I'm just telling you because cards wouldn't say that,
Oh, so
And-
so
and
that,
10
that's,
of Cups.
okay.
So 10 of Cups, yes, it's the right time. Like, again, for you to do it. However, you're gonna run into problems.
So
You
that card would mean problems, intrusive.
intrusive to me is, again, that it's an intrusive energy, meaning like it's gonna give you anxiety. That this person, to me, psychically, I'm gonna just tell you, like, you're not probably gonna get all this information the first time, but you would. And it's the
Mhm.
fact that emotionally, this person has the power to trip you up emotionally. It's like
Mhm.
because they know every button to push. They were with
Mhm.
and so understand that's the intrusive energy. They're gonna try and do it, and there's a sense that you already know it, which is why you didn't say anything.
I
So there's a
didn't.
whole psychic thing already happening, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
This person already knows what you're
Yes.
gonna do, and there's a sense that you have always been 5 steps ahead. However, you always felt like this person was on your heels. So there's always a lot of anxiety. So Spirit's saying to me from that is like, really, to me, it leads me to say, well, what would you do to create balance? Because you know that that's the problem, but it would be better for you because it would really cut the cord between you and your ex, that you can move on and have another life, because you feel like you can't have a life because there's still this weird fucking energy that doesn't need to be here. But again, this person is not just about letting go of the house, it's actually about control. And that's what it's always been about. And so understand that's why Spirit's saying it's like you got to do what's best for you, but you got to not pretend that you don't have an issue with that. It's like because you want to age 10 years in a year because that's what this person will do. And you already know that. It's like they're going to get what they want. It's again, and that we tend to attract people like that too, because we have that crazy, intense, passionate energy. So if you're gonna have that crazy, intense, passionate energy, you're gonna wind up with a crazy person. It's just what it is. It's like it's emotion. So again, you gotta use that discernment to know, hey, this is really who I am. This is what's gonna happen. I already know what's gonna happen. You didn't need for me to tell you that, but that was something that you were like, oh, that's not really gonna happen. I just deal with it at the time that it happens. And God says that never works out for you ever when you try to
Mhm.
do that. And that's why
Mhm.
it would be intrusive because
Okay.
it's like you get in your own way. It's annoying.
Mhm.
It's again, emotionally, I get in my own way. This person has the power to emotionally manipulate me. They're going to
Mhm.
be intrusive. It's again, that's what my intuition called for. What did
Mhm.
it call for you? When this word intrusive came, I want to say, what did you think of, Omira? What did you think of, Shala? What did you think of? Right on the spot. What was the first word that popped into your mind when you thought of intrusive?
I
Nothing.
thought of like conflict.
Right,
Mhm.
Mhm.
absolutely. So again, not easy. So what would be the conflict? Again, what's your intuition to ask that next question? See, I'm not going to use cards. I ask questions in my head. And the next
Mhm.
question would be, well, what would be the conflict? About not wanting you to sell the house. It's like it's a property. I love this house. This is my house. This was my baby. This was my project. It's worth a lot of money. I don't really have a good place to live now. My life is fucked up now. I don't want to lose the house. I don't want to lose the lifestyle. I'm sorry for what I did, but I don't really have the balls enough to say I'm sorry. But I still want the perks of I
Yeah.
of the benefits of being with you. And where again, that means you gave too much too soon right away. And now the fact that you're sticking up for yourself, well, now you're going to get intrusive energy, which is now I'm going to bully you.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to bully you because I can't control you. I can't manipulate you. So again, that's energy. That's a shadow. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? We're doing shadow healing here. And it's again, it's because this is energy I had to deal with before. Bully energy. Bully energy. God says, oh yeah, did you think that you got away with that? Oh no, you got to go through that situation again because what we resist persists. It says it in the Bible. Not saying it's like, no, there's a part of you, we're not gonna run from it. We're not gonna run from it, but we're gonna plan ahead psychically. We're gonna be as wise as a serpent, but gentle as a dove. Remember, the serpent is devil. It's again sneaky. Gotta be sneaky. Some people say gotta be foxy. That's what my husband's mom used to say. She's a real foxy one.
Mhm.
It was like foxy meant good looking.
You can-
That's like I wasn't
Yeah.
liking that. But oh, 10 of cups, like I said, like it's almost like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I read your message more positively because I read it as it was 10 of cups, re upside upright, not reverse.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So
Mhm.
and I was reading your shadow. So again, that's what I'm always gonna read, what will block you. I don't predict the future. I'm not allowed to do that. So it's again, I will always tell you what you need to heal. So it's again, because you're the one that's gonna make the decision. You're the one that's gonna again deliberately. So again, what would have happened though is this person would trip you up, would be very intrusive and make it very difficult, and then you just would not move because that's your default, which is, well, this is just too much work. You know?
No, that's totally right, because he can't, control any from the legal aspect, because everything is my name. But
Right.
he can use the emotional, like you said, intrusive and all that.
And
Yeah.
he's going to, and he's going to. And that's so it's like again, when you know that people are gonna do shady shit, you gotta prepare. Listen, I know I've had it happen all my life. When my ex-husband, when my husband died, his ex-wife was one person. It's like, but it's like, oh, she actually thought she was gonna move in with me. She thought she was gonna come into my house and push me out. Because hey, she read the old me, and the old me was super nice. And I was super nice because I understood her situation. I understood, but it's again, she didn't want to be helped. She was somebody that was like, no, I just want to be able to like cheat and not have consequences and use people for their money and not really raise my children and just be a horrible human being. That I mean, where it's like some people when you stop, and spiritually sick people will have that type of behavior. It's just very selfish behavior. And it's because she wasn't allowed her own childhood, really. And that's the trauma. What I notice with people that weren't allowed to have their childhood, there's a sense of, I should be allowed to do this. And they really shouldn't be allowed to have children because it's, again, there's a sense of not knowing how to really, or be able to even give that much love a lot of times because they felt that they never got it themselves. So, but it also can work the other way also where it works for me because I was never a kid person, to be honest with you. Never thought I wanted kids, but again, it opened up my heart. So Spirit says, well, sometimes I give people kids for that sole reason that they have to learn how to be they have to learn how to be self-sacrificing and not so selfish. You remember, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that I was selfish. And then the Spirit says, yeah, but again, it's always a choice. It's always a choice. We have goodwill. All right, next up. Oh, Myra.
Okay, so I guess mine is almost like a two-part thing.
Okay.
I'm having issues, like I do good and then I slump back, and it's almost like an emotional roller coaster for me getting over my ex. And I just feel like it's almost 4 months now, and I was thinking I was on a good, road to recovery, but I keep feeling his energy all of a sudden very heavy because I don't deal with depression, I don't deal with anxiety, but that's how I'm feeling. So I don't know if I'm picking up on his energy. I don't know what it is, or that it's just spirit telling me that maybe he's going to reach out soon, and I'm
I
sensing
told
that.
you that, and you were like, no.
I
And
think,
then,
honestly, I think he's moved on. I think he's formed another
listen,
type.
he always wants you to think that he's moved on, Elmira, but there's no one that's gonna give him what you gave him.
Mhm.
So it's again, and that's where your lesson needs to come in, that you don't know your worth. And so
Mhm.
it's again, and that, so there's a sense of like, I'm lonely. You're
Yeah.
lonely. You're like,
Mhm.
I'm lonely. It's like, and it's like, and I want that. And this person knows that. And they're like, oh, it's enough time that I can wear you down. And Shala, you might as well be listening to this too, because that's that
Mhm.
person. There's only a certain amount of time that I can wear you down. It's like because your life isn't different, and that's what your spirit knows. And that's what, again, and there's a fear and there's an anger with that that you have because you're like, I don't want to. I'm angry.
Mhm.
I'm angry. And that's because you're like, again, you're still attached on an emotional level. And that's why part of you is like, I want to move to a different country.
Yes. And that was my second part of my question was like, I'm trying to break my mind because, although I do have a good, financial position, I'm breaking my mind, like, what can I do to create extra income, to speed up the
It's
process,
not one or the other. We already talked about that. It's about you committing to it. And that's the issue. It's
Yeah.
like, and that's where the intimacy issue comes from. The cards aren't going to tell you that. It's again, it's intimacy. It's like, it's really committing to something. And if you don't commit to something, you will always meet people that don't commit. So it's again because there's a sense of lack. And so again, there's a part of you that's tired, that you're like, I'm tired. It's like I just want whatever. And Spirit says it's about really finding something that you love, that you're passionate about, but you don't try anything inconsistent enough because there's this manic energy. And I know I get that manic energy. And that's because again of I don't know, I just don't feel like it. Feel like I don't know. That's the energy there. And it's like Spirit saying it needs to recondition the nervous system. It's like it's not a natural process for you to relax. You weren't allowed to relax. So it's like I can't think because emotionally I'm not secure. Like I'm better in a relationship because a relationship helps me feel more secure. And that's what again is a spiritual block, which you don't need anyone to feel secure. There's an illusion, and emotionally you need to again, and that's by keeping your mind busy, being busy with again something that fills you. That is when you'll be able to really leave. And I already told you it's the nutrition, it's cooking, it's nutrition, being a chef, being a cook for other for people overseas. And it's easy to do. If you don't have a place in Georgia, there's a place here in St. Augustine that will find you a place overseas to work. That's what they do. It's called travel and something else. It's like I forget the name of it, but it's downtown, and we have people in St. Augustine that we take in. That again, and they do sometimes little chores around the house. Sometimes they work. Again, it's something that's I can do that for you. For all you know, it could be like I gotta like house sit because these people like go away. And so again, it doesn't mean you don't have a life. It means that you need to sleep in the house. So and I need to dog sit or whatever the fuck. It's like it's something that you can do. It's doable, but you have to commit. And part of you, whether you want to or not, and it's not going to be in the cards, well, it might be. So maybe I shouldn't say it. Like it's again, I'm feeling like, well, no, it'll confirm. It's the kids, the family. It's again being guilted. You're gonna be leave, and it's again, oh, that's the topic today. Being emotionally manipulated. Okay. It's like like that, like you're you're always available, you're always there, you're the consistent, you're the rock, you make people feel safe, you're again, but you have to show everybody that they can live to the max amount of their life. They too live very simple and safe because you raise them in that way. So understand, I feel like one of the challenges for you is that your mind, you don't have a passion. This person represents a passion. They represent you being content with yourself because you were, as long as you were nurturing someone. God's saying, now nurture yourself. You're like, I don't know what that looks like. Spirit says, you do, because I'm telling you what you want. You're like, no, maybe I don't really want it. And Spirit says, no, you're good at your job, but again, it's not a passion. It's never been a passion. It hasn't been a good source of income, yes. And that makes you love the job because hey, it's the bottom line and I'm good at it. It's like, but Spirit says, are you fully emotionally content? You're like, yeah. And Spirit says, let's take this fucker away. Now are you content? And you're like, no. And Spirit says, I thought so. That's what that is, because that person really shouldn't represent all that. So maliciousness.
Oh.
And I felt like, again, that's to me is more like is mean, but it's an underhanded mean. So again, you're gonna get backlash. Again, and that backlash is like you're gonna be like, well, I thought that my daughter was gonna like do this, but it's again, they're gonna see it as like you're running away, you're hurt, like you're this, you're that, when really they're not gonna understand. They'll understand later, like when I feel like you're like, well, you're gonna come and visit me, because again, they're not gonna see that. They're not gonna see all those, how can I do that? And be like, if I could do it, you can do it. It's like you're teaching them. Again, because I feel like you have daughters that got married young, haven't lived again, and not really enough. And so there's a desire. So again, Knight of Cups reversed, which is like again, and then the again, the person that I feel like that that your ex like is another factor of that. And there's a sense that you know it. Like if this person comes back and I don't leave, it's again that like this person has the power to emotionally manipulate you too. And that's it's again because you're like, why did I do what you did last time? And it was like after you got a reading. And it was mainly because again, there's that you're emotionally not getting what you need. And that is at least better than nothing. And the mind will always do that. It will settle for that. So again, and then you not knowing, again, that so just you not knowing the moon subconscious, I feel like what would hold you back. Again, we look at the shadows. What would block you? What would block you? That's the question. It's not can you go? Of course you can go. I just told you how to do it. Again, step by step, how to do it. What will block you? Again, you're the creator of your life, and I'm telling you right now, it's not as easy as you say to go and leave. You have to prepare your family. You'd have to show them. They'd have to be maybe even be a part of the process because emotionally you'd feel guilted. And that's what it is. We don't do things the wrong way. We always do things the right way. And that's through unconditional love. It takes longer. We have to be patient. We set ourselves up for success, though we always do things the right way. And so again, 5 of coins, which is again, otherwise the family left out in the cold. And then you feeling left out of the cold. Like now I got what I want, but I caused strife and people are hurt. And it's again because they don't really understand. It's like You're changing the dynamic. Remember, I'm Myra. You're the one that people come to for the holidays. You're the person that does everything. So, and you're gonna take the foundation away and you're gonna act like, well, it's like it's not fulfilling me anymore. And you're like, yeah, because I'm ready to just change. And I get that, but what I'm saying is emotions don't work that way. It's like you'll like that's why we do things the right way, which is like again, we do the research, we make our kids a part of that. Again, we say, what do you think of that if I was to live in, because maybe it's going to be a compromise, like you'll go over for 6 months and then come back and then go back over. Like there may be like some protocol too that you didn't even know that you would need to like stay for a certain amount of time. Then maybe your family can come over. So you get to teach them a new way of life. You learn together. You show them that, hey, this is possible. I didn't grow up this way either. Like I didn't grow up this way either. That's why I always had a desire to do it. And I love traveling, and that's why I love traveling, because I loved the different cultures. And it's again, and I wanted to share this gift with you because one day I'm not going to be here, and I don't want you to stay in that house back in Brooklyn, back in Georgia, back in wherever that you're living. I want you to know that there's a whole world out there, and if you can imagine it, you can create it. And this is how we get inspired to do things. This is why we go out into the world. You got to get people excited. Otherwise, no, I'm going to look at oh, it's going to cost too much money. It's going to cost too much money. I can't do that. It's like their fears get in the way. But what does it cost? I don't have the money to do that. I set myself up for success, though. This is how you would do it. And guess what? Your granddaughter gets to do that when she's 19 years old. My grandmother showed me how. Oh, my grandmother showed me how. She's not here anymore. Yeah, she's in heaven. But, this is what she left me. She left it again. She did it. I was a year and a half the first time I went over to Europe. It's like, and then it was this, it's again, it's changing the cycles, the generational, like ancestral karma of I can't, I'm living safe. I'm living this way. I live divorced, single, and miserable because I don't have love. It's like where spirit says it's not going to happen. It's again, we change the whole scenario. And that's really what I feel like. So the challenges we look at, but then we again know what the antidote is that we make them part of the process. We get them inspired. We don't say, I'm not leaving tomorrow, and understand you're part of the process. And it's like, I want to do this. You get them inspired. You're making them a part of it. Otherwise, it's seen as abandonment, and that's a generational thing that, again, you've inherited, unfortunately, and you would be passing that on, even though you would not be intentionally trying to pass that on. And that's what your higher self would know, and that's why you would be guilted. And that's why you would, like, again, stop. So without emotionally fulfilling yourself. And so understand you start where you are. You can, again, the focus is on getting over there first, because you can actually get over there and start as a cook and become like a gym trainer while you're over there. Like anything's possible. It's like you don't need to make a permanent decision. The focal point needs to be, what is the focal point? Well, I want to go over there, but I want to be financially secure to do that. Well, I think you can still do your job, again, part of it from overseas. That's number one. Number two is also to, again, become yourself at the same time, because you have to prepare your family. Because again, we already talked about what the obstacle would be. And you don't want to set yourself up for failure. Because that's what that would be. It's like I'm going, but your mind can't be in two places at one time. I feel bad. I feel bad. Like I just called up to talk to my granddaughter, and my daughter's angry with me. Now I have to go to this cooking class, and I feel bad. I feel guilted. If you don't think that would affect you, you're crazy, because it would. It's
Mhm.
like, and that's why Spirit's saying that's what it would be. That's what I thought of malicious. And it's like, because it's like an underhanded, it's like, I'm gonna do something that you don't really know is that, but it's gonna eat at you because I know who you are too. And it's like, and you may not care about me, but you definitely care about your grandkids. And it's like, and that's how I feel like your kids would play it, because that's how you play. You're
Mhm.
like, you never really would get mad or whatever, you just would like make it very difficult. And so that's the energy there, and that's how I take malicious. And and again, not thinking that you're deserving of it, and trying to go about it all at once. It should be a journey, a fun process. So again, we look into how we do that. That should be an adventure. Everything's an adventure. There's an ends to a means, you know, like when you come down to St. Augustine again, like like you said that you would, then there's go down to the travel agency, you ask questions. I'll go with you if you want. I mean, there's a lot of different, there's ways to do it. You just have to again do it. It's like, and if it's done organically, the path unfolds on how you do it. You're being led by spirit. It's an actual co-creation process that it'll unfold where you again, it feels right. It works out for everyone. It's the highest form on place, and that's why we do oracle cards, because we want to know what the obstacles would be. So when you thought of maliciousness, what did you guys think of? What came to your mind?
Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm wearing
Yeah,
the first thing that came to my mind was like somebody else's intention not being right, like not wanting her to leave because it doesn't benefit them.
right,
Mhm.
right. Like mean, like a little bit mean is what. So
Mhm.
what did you think, Shella?
Really the same thing. I was actually just studying the actual cards and the colors. But yeah, basically the same thing, just other people's intentions. Because I mean, people can come off as though they have great intentions for you, but ultimately they don't.
Mhm. I actually thought it was more my ex when she said maliciousness.
I think it would be both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That it would be both, because that's what I said. This person
Yeah.
knows again that you're still attached. It's
Yeah.
like they wouldn't be able to influence you.
Mhm.
It's like once you begin to do what this person does, which understand was so glamorous too, the fact that this person does, well, then you're on equal playing ground and you're actually like have more. And you would meet somebody overseas in a heartbeat, and this person knows it because you're a good catch. So it's again, it would be like again, that would be, but this that I don't know whether it would affect you because you're like, well, I'm kind of excited about leaving. I kind of know who you are already. And I know that our relationship can only go X amount far. At this point, it's not going to ever grow more than whatever you fucking gave, which wasn't enough. And so it's never going to get better because I've already taken you back numerous times. So though I wanted you to do it, it's not possible. You're not healed enough. You are on a different vibration.
Yeah.
That's what the problem is. So it's again, that's the manipulation, but at least you're like, I know once I go overseas, I'll meet somebody. I know I will. It's
Mhm.
like you're not gonna care. Your kids, you care.
Mhm.
That's like why I say that. You'll care for a little while with the ex, but not really no, because it's again, it because like it's exactly what damn I'm good. It's again like because what this says the eight of wands, and eight of wands is what? Building momentum.
Mhm.
What's happening there? I'm getting more ideas, I'm getting more excited, I'm seeing the momentum is going, the energy is going, you're cutting the cord. Life is getting excited. that's when energetically you cut the cord that person then, like, you're cutting off their oxygen supply. And it's again because you were always there. You're still always there energetically to me. And you hate that about yourself. And that's the
Yes.
malicious part is, again, is more like, I don't think that your ex tries to hide anything. He's like, I feel like you're kind of property and I'm going to come back when I want to come back. Yeah, you're mad. I get it, but it's okay. You know, you'll get over it. And that's what, again, why I say you get mad, but that'll happen. You're not, because you're like, you're already saying this person, like, by the time that they come back, instead of coming and giving you more, they're giving you like less, first of all, because they should be making up for how little they've done and everything else that they've done, and they're not. So there's a sense that you're still angry from that. It's still not healed, and you know that they're not changed. So you can only fake it for so long, is what I'm saying. So that when you begin to actually build the momentum. What does that mean? Well, I went down to the travel agency and then I found out this, and then I called up the place and they actually were looking for someone. And then I found a airline ticket, and then it was only this. And then this job said that I could work still overseas. And then this, and I'm seeing the places you're cutting that energy. It's like emotionally you get fed. You're not gonna, it's like, no, I'm leaving you behind. Yes, I miss that romance that I didn't have, but I'm so excited about my future. I'm so excited. I'm so passionately like filled with what I'm creating. I don't need you to fill me up emotionally. I don't need that. I do that for myself. So again, it's like then we see two of wands, which is again, which is what is your thing? Another block, which would be lack of strategy. How are you going to deal with it? Which again, we already said, Spirit already told us the topic. It was like emotionally, we all get tripped up here. How do we emotionally get tripped up? Because no one can take what's yours. You can take what's yours. You can sabotage yourself, where you get in your own way to block yourself from manifesting. But there's a shadow. Shadows are blocks. How do they play out within our behaviorisms? What's the behaviorism? We used to get emotionally manipulated. It's again bullied. So what we see here is a card, like a theme. Hey, there's a lot of different cards in this deck. So don't say it's the same thing. Oh, really? Is it? Because here's unstructured, and that would be mine. Okay, which is God says, I know how you're gonna fuck yourself up. Do you ever have a plan? You're so unstructured. You do everything psychically. We know this already. I try to keep to it. I can't do it. It's like I rely on spirit a lot, and spirit says, I'm getting tired of the lack of structure.
I have a question on the same, just a quick comment question. So, like, I can resonate with what you just told Omira in a lot of ways.
Because your situation is very similar.
Very similar. Okay, so with that said, I cannot lie to myself like you told me a little while ago. I still have feelings for this man.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Still miss him. And if he was to do right by me, that would not change the fact that I want to move the house. Because that's something we talked about, but not too often, obviously. But if he would do right by me, not in like change, because everybody has their things, and I know him, but I cannot lie to myself. I would give him another chance if there was some sense of, I don't want to say transparency because he doesn't know what the word means, but I don't know how to even do right by me.
Like if he was coming back with genuine intentions.
right.
Yes, genuine, but even with that, as far as within my situation,
Right.
always
I
gonna be
think
a little, agenda, because in reality, you're right, we are at a higher vibration than they are.
Mhm.
That's just the fact.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I can just.
Well, that's why I said that the topic was gonna be that because Spirit says every single person on here has that problem. Because we didn't know what Oracle spread, because I kept asking for an Oracle spread, so Spirit was like, all right, well, we're just gonna pick one. And like, again, that's a common issue, like, and which for everyone and how to deal with it. So your thing is, again, Omira, that's what you'll have to prepare yourself. But I'm telling you, as you build momentum, you won't be able to be manipulated. The thing with your children, I had to explain to you how to deal with that because it's not a yes or no. It's like you can get what you want, and then you would just be like, well, you would eventually be like, everyone has to make themselves happy sometimes, and you would be like that, but you would still feel bad, and it doesn't need to be that way. It needs to, again, be more balanced where you just make them part of the process. And it's not very scary. It's scary when you get married young. Hey, when you get married young and you and that. Can you just mute yourself? You're echoing. Someone's echoing. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, Jeff. So like that, it's like I think that it's all about, it's not a yes or no. And that's the thing with shadows. We're talking about shadows with tarot and why do we use it and the different layering of cards. And so we're going around, and what we notice is that there's a karmic theme, and the karmic theme for everybody, and if you're here, it's your karmic theme too, is that emotionally you get manipulated, and emotionally manipulated to the point that it'll prevent you from doing what you want to do. Like, and so it's about like learning how to deal with the situation, because when I do a reading, I don't predict the future. I will tell you what's blocking you. So we just got done with Elmira. I'm gonna go to Shayla and then I'll go to you, Jeff. All right. So Shayla, you're up. Did I answer everything, Elmira?
You did. Thank you, Laura.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, but I do see it happening and not and successfully. It's just, again, there's an easy way to do it and there's a hard way to do it. You always want to do it the easy way and the right way. One that's going to be the most emotionally balanced for everyone involved, you know? All right, Shayla, what's the question? What is the question? Now, when we're using, again, Jeff, just so you know, to catch you up to speed, when we are using oracle cards, it's always what the question, we phrase the question. It's again, so that's really important. And if you read my workbook, you'd know that. And then there's also the different spreads that we decide to use. Right now, I'm just pulling a 2 card, doing it as very simple. But we're gonna go into do spread after, because I channel. So, all right, so, oh, and the difference between oracle cards and tarot cards is oracle cards make you continually ask question to allow you to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And a tarot card is very direct. Again, gives you straight to the point. So again, when we're doing shadow readings again, we use an oracle spread for that particular reason. So again, the question is, again, whatever the question is, we're phrasing it in a way, what would prevent me from blank? Because again, what is the block? Block is, again, what's stopping me, what's blocking, preventing me from achieving what I'm trying to achieve. You're up. What is it? Yeah. Shayla, I'm gonna go to Sheila.
Um, I guess I would ask because I feel like I've been really trying and doing my work. But I guess what are my blockages that are causing me inconsistency in achieving my goals right now? Because I know I'm just inconsistent. Trying to be consistent.
I think it's again, a lot of times it's like psychically, I'm gonna tell you, it's stuff that you don't want to do. It's like it's trying to avoid doing certain things, the stuff, the aspect of your business that you don't like to do. And
Yeah.
let's face it, and the way to do that is the way to do it the way that you enjoy to do it. Because
Mm.
mastery comes in doing. So the only way to be consistent and to see results is like you have to be consistent. And the only way you're going to be consistent is if you're really passionate about what you do. I feel like you don't have enough of your style down. You don't
Yeah.
really know your style. And that's an
Yeah.
unfolding process. You're looking for that. Now I'm going to channel again because again, it's not going to come out in the cards. But for you, it's again, it's an unfoldment process. It's again, you're trying to look, you don't know until you do. And that's really the issue. It's like you're looking for things to happen before they actually happen. How would you know unless you tried, unless you did? I'm feeling like events, doing events, like big goddess circles and stuff like that. So it starts with like having a meetup group. Again, this is a grounding issue, like using your platforms. It's about being out there and being every day, every day, every day, and be again, sometimes getting on there and you look like a rag. Hey, what do you, I just woke up, but I'm gonna tell you this anyway. And then so and other times you look okay, and other times, it's about being real because that's
Yeah.
what people want. That's what people want. They don't want, we shoot for excellence. There is no such thing as perfect. Only God is perfect. So God says we get to shoot for excellence and that's our own unique individuality and that you're not in charge of who comes to you. So there's a sense of who's going to come to me. You don't know who's going to come to you. And it's because you're not consistent. So you haven't found your tribe and it's about being consistent, showing up for yourself, and it's how much love you put into something. How much love, and so unless you love it, and that's why I'm saying, so otherwise it's tactlessness. I feel like when I felt like that, I feel like, oh, being around someone that's actually like, does your girlfriend get like, does she get like nasty, disgusting, like can get like nasty, like when she like gets angry with you?
Oh, my soon to be ex-wife. Yeah, she was really
Yeah,
nasty.
like that's what I felt like. Tactlessness is that. It's like it's a bully. It's again, that's that energy that I said that we all have, but this bully energy, which it's always done underhandedly. Like, I mean, Myra's really isn't like a bully. It's again, that's just like a mean, like a little bit like a mean, I'm gonna make you feel bad because I feel bad. It's like a manipulative tactic where tactlessness, I don't like that energy. Cause that's like I'm gonna do something that that's somebody that's like, I'm gonna kill myself because of you. I'm gonna do like something, it's again, I'm gonna do something that's so outlandish. And why? Because I'm like not doing what you want me to do. So there is a sense of this energy, and I understand we tend to attract that if we didn't feel loved. So it's like there's a sense of wanting to really be loved. Five of Cups. So again, we see it reversed. See like how like every single card is coming out like reverse. And that's again, but this is not bad. This is out of the woods. So I feel like five of coins is like that you would again really be able to cut the cord on this person. That's what it's saying. So what would be the problem? The problem is that you're just not like you're not developed enough. There's a sense of, and because you're not, I'm gonna have to read it like this because I feel like you're already out of the woods with the X. So it's like
Oh.
it's like you don't care anymore. And it's
I,
like you really like have shut off. So this is more like, again, you don't have a good enough style and people wouldn't take you the right way. I'm not gonna lie. They would think that your business was a little bit tacky. Where
yeah.
it's like, because it's like just spitting out material, and it's
Mhm.
like I do believe in that, but God says, be like childlike, have a love affair with yourself. How did Mark Jacobs get inspired? And that might be a bad example because I keep seeing him with the long nails and I just can't get into it on Instagram. But it's like, we're gonna use like a designer, and the designer, like like an amazing designer, they get inspired. They go to like all these different places, they eat all these great foods, they experience life. And
Mhm.
so there's part of you that's like, I'm not really sure. And
Mhm.
so I think in your spare time, when you like to work out and you like to do your like cleaning and you like to do what you do, listen to different preachers like on YouTube. It's it's to see who inspires me.
Mhm.
And it's not just inspired, but then it's to go to Udemy, like they said, and Udemy, and then go and say, I don't know what I would be into, but having a niche is important. You don't want to be a jack of all trades, master of nothing.
Mhm.
What do I know you from for? Your path will unfold that. Because in the Bible it says nothing can take what's yours. And no one can take what's yours. People will try and duplicate it, they'll try and copy it, but there's only one you, there's only one style. There's all and so you haven't found it yet. And because you
Mhm.
haven't found it yet, you can't be consistent because it's like it's not authentic. And that's
Mhm.
really how I take tactlessness. It's
Yep.
not that. And so, how does the girlfriend even tie in? Why would I even say that? And Spirit says, the reason why is because of attracting that type of energy, of not being authentic, not being your true self, is the same as, again, bringing someone to you that's wounded. Because it's, again, there's only two energies, love and fear. So really, Spirit saying it's to again be to don't feel like, don't put the pressure on, but be consistent by being like, okay, is gonna require grounding, and whenever there's grounding, you'll also notice uh, you're gonna be tired, and it's tired because it's like again the way that you learn to deal, which is
Mhm.
which is too safe. It's like, which is, I'll do what I need to do to like stay afloat. And God says, that's not, again, you're not down there for that. That's seen as fear. So it's going to go into the bad pile, shadow pile, because it's, again, you're not doing it for the right reason. You want to do it for the right reason. And that's again where Spirit says it's by becoming yourself. So doing the grounding work, which means what? Going to different meetup groups. What do you think, you're going to spend $1 million at the beginning? No. I want to see what everyone teaches. That will, number one, give you an idea of, I went to the worst fucking meetup group. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. And that Spirit's way of saying, well, then you shouldn't be afraid to go out and try, because if they're going out there trying their best, then you should see again. Then it's also what calls to you, different rituals, different, it's again pulling from your culture, pulling from your roots. It's again and doing some of the work, pulling it in, learning, and when you learn, you take pieces from everywhere and you make it into your own. You create yourself, the path unfolds. You haven't invested enough into yourself. So it's again the passion is not overflowing, and Spirit saying it's like you get inspired. It doesn't come from without. You get inspired from out, but then that the whole process is internal. The kingdom of heaven's inside of you. If you can imagine it, you can create it. Are you imagining it? It's like the path will unfold. as you do the work. Oh, trust me, I tried to teach classes, and Spirit was like, you don't spell properly. It's like, and you don't want to use spell check. It's like there were certain things that I just didn't, so Spirit made a way where there was no way. It's again, that was just for me, but it only happens in divine time, and a lot of times we get impatient. And Spirit says, don't be the way that your parents were to you, impatient. Of you need to know who you are right before you're 12. How are you going to make a living for the rest of your life, huh? You think that food is free? You know, you know what I mean? It's like they're unrealistic. You know, you have to find yourself, and you have to be relaxed with it. And that only comes from doing. You have to do. You have to, again, how are you going to know? It's like you got to use all your senses. You got to embody it. I don't know. And you're not having any of that, so you don't know. And so it's really, this is a grounding thing, and you got to use these imperfect structures. So that would mean I go on Facebook, I see what's going on in my community. And maybe I volunteer at certain places and I just introduce myself. Who are you? Why would I want to hire you? Well, I go down to the food board and I help the homeless people every Tuesday and give out food, and they know me down there, and I'm the spiritual advisor. I do that for whatever. And then because I was out there, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, God says, well, you're out there trying, utilizing the broken structures, like I say. Well, I'm going to make a way where there is no way. That's actually better. But you're going to, again, show me that you believe that you're true. Be like childlike. What does that mean? Children pretend that that box is a house. Again, that's not a house. When it rains, the house is gone. But the children don't think that. And what happens is it rains and then the house is gone, but it creates a new adventure. Now we got to go out and find another box. But guess what? We got sidetracked. There's no box. Instead, we found something else. And one thing lead to another, meaning you're living in the hands of God, the universe. That's who God is, the universe. And the universe is conspiring to make it happen for you, but you're not. So you have to, again, be consistent. You have to be consistent. And that might be, in the morning, I'm better in the morning to do the meditation. So, and maybe I don't want to look perfect. So I get in and I do that on the radio. It's a spirit saying you're not, it's again, and that means that to do the homework. Well, again, what am you going to talk about? Well, listen to different speakers, listen to different things. It's again, get inspired, become yourself. What calls to you? Trust me, when you're doing that, doing the research, hey, all of a sudden, then something comes to the intuition that says, oh, I should take this class. Oh, I went to this class, and something told me I should talk to Elmira. Elmira told me that I should go to this class. Then I went to this class, and then I met this person, and they told me about this. And then one thing leads to another, leads to another. You're not never moving yourself. You're not being inspired. You're not having a love affair with the process. So you wouldn't be consistent. It's like we shouldn't be looking at our clock. That means you're not loving it. That means that you're not loving it. You gotta love it. You gotta want to do it. You gotta become it. You gotta become it. You gotta become it. You gotta and you gotta show up. And that's why you wouldn't be consistent. So it's more like people won't like your thing, and you don't feel like you're strong. And you kind of like you're feeling like, again, it's not good. And that's obviously would make you nervous. It's again, because it's like, I have anxiety from it. It's like Spirit says, because mastery comes in doing. Mastery comes in doing. What do you think? That Olympic person just became that good? Made it that easy? Can you go do those twists and turns through the air like again, like nothing? It's like, no, that took hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and they had to overcome the anxiety, and they had to come across, and not every time was it that easy, but they always made it look easy. And that's because then Spirit says, because again, there was their passion, it was their passion. So it's again, that's that supernatural energy that if we can create it, because we're water, we're showing up all the time and it's unfolding. It's a co-creation process. This is how we feel supported. We feel supported in the entire process. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. God says, please don't do my job, do your job. It's again, and just go out there and have fun. And that's where the anxiety comes in. What does that mean? Oh my God, have fun. And Spirit says, that's not the energy of fun. Look, like you're having a heart attack here. That's the exact opposite of fun. Just, we're going in the opposite direction. So again, no pressure. No pressure. I have no pressure. And when you go to a few meetup groups and you see what people teach, sometimes you're like, yeah, well, I could do this. I could do this. And you learn because it's not always going to be perfect. And it says, hey, this is how we learn. I remember the first meetup group I taught. I had the workshop went on forever and it was horrible. And Spirit said, you acted like it was your radio show. This isn't your radio show. It's like, and I said that one girl reached out to me before she heard my radio show. She said, oh, I wanted to meet you. I loved you. Da, 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 da. And she went to my workshop and she walked out early. And I called her, after I texted her, I said, hey, you didn't show tonight. She goes, I did. I was the one that walked out early. And I was like, why? I said, was it because? She goes, because you went asked people to go around the room and introduce themselves. I wasn't there to hear them. Yeah, she was like, I was here for you. So maybe she had a little bit unrealistic expectation of who I was. And I also didn't prepare. I was gonna wing it. And Spirit says, hey, that was a fail. And you overstimulated everybody. You had a huge crowd and you overstimulated everybody, and that was horrible. And I did a few doozies. That was one time. Another time, I let somebody like bully me. I had a few people come into my workshops and try and take over my workshop. And because one lady was trying to bully me into giving her a reading. So she kept, everything was like, give me a reading, give me a reading. And so where the other lady that actually showed up to the workshop said, you know what, I take a lot of time out to come here. And it's like, it came here, and it's like, I didn't learn anything because of this lady. So you learn. Otherwise, you don't, if you're not going to be willing to learn and mess up, you're also not gonna, but those are practical things. Otherwise, you're not grounding. You're not finding your style. You're not learning because you don't have a teacher that's teaching you, telling you what to do. You're finding it yourself. And that's only going to happen by you doing it. All right. So that's what would prevent you. All right. We're going to go to Jeff now. Jeff, that's right. You're up. And we're going to see, what is your question?
My question is, what's preventing me from finding my life path, I guess. My passion. Yeah.
What is blocking you from your path? Because that's
Yeah.
really what it would be. It's again, what's blocking you from your path, which is you're stuck. Oh, well, it's again. And I feel like because you're overthinking it. It's like you're overthinking it. It's like, and the thing is, it's like the way that you learn, you're like you internalize everything. So the thing is that for everything that's good is everything that's bad, and you live safe. So it's like, so you don't move, you just do what is familiar, but what's familiar isn't filling you up, and that's why you attract crazy people, because you're so safe. And so really it's got to be something that's going to help you ground. Spirit descending to me is again that you have ideas. It's not like you don't, but you don't again ground them. And that's because there's a lot like, well, that's going to look stupid. You judge the process. So, and really Spirit says you need to get out of your own way. It's like, because stuck means you're thinking too much. You don't know before you try it. The path is an unfoldment process. It's the same as Shayla's. Yes, you get, this is a grounding issue from a lack of connection to the Father. So understand, it's like to get into the body. It's like to be comfortable in the body. And then to find your way, it means where it's what's going to invest. Where will you invest? And for you, I believe it's anything like, I really feel psychology stuff like that really interests you. Like, and it's about like, being inspired to like, I feel like to help people. It's like you want to connect deep with people. Otherwise, what happens is you feel like you're too deep and people are not deep enough. And the reason why is because you, again, that's what you like. You're called to that. You're more intellectual. You need to be with an intellectual person, but that's not going to happen where you meet people. So again, what's blocking you is, again, let's see, oh, almost like, and the Seven of Wands to me is almost like babying yourself a little bit, like, nurturing yourself, like you don't want to be uncomfortable. Because it's licking your wounds, where it's really, it's again, it's you're like in this place of I've failed before. And that's really what it is. I've tried before and I failed before, because licking your wounds means that. And so I don't want to invest and lose. And so Spirit says that that's, again, you're playing it safe. And in that, it's like you can live that way, but it's going to be boring and it's not, and you're going to pull crazy people to you. So it's, again, when meanwhile, you're a natural born leader. You actually don't think that you are, but you're not stepping in your truth. You don't see yourself the way that God made you. And that's really what it is. It's like you're inspired to do things. You're like, you just don't invest in doing them. And Spirit says it's baby steps. Baby steps. It takes a mustard seed. God makes that multiply. So it's, again, because you don't know the path. God knows the path. And so you're just saying, well, I was always called to this. And for you, I would say, go down to your community college and take one semester of psychology. Go again, it'll give you something to do. You like to learn, you want to meet different people. I feel like if it's a night class, guess what? Take a night class, because a lot of times people will you'll have a few straggly people that be like, hey, they want to go get a cup of coffee, you want to go and get, and they're deep. It's like that, not you make like friends. You want, it's, again, it's 8 o'clock class, 9 o'clock class. Let's go to a diner after. Let's do, it's, you need that. There's a sense of you don't even know who you are. You've lived so safe. And that's gonna drag, again, crazy ass energy to you. The same as Shayla's energy. Like I said, I pull people to me that crazy, because no energy is still considered bad energy. And where God says, again, that's a shadow there. It's, again, I didn't make you. You're supposed to do something with that. When you're a leader and you don't see yourself the way that I see you. And it's because, well, I don't really know. And Spirit says, you just don't invest, because you're like, I don't know how to. And Spirit says, I don't even recommend you taking a course online. I want you to go out. I want you to, again, get in your car and go to a place and invest in yourself and give, because then life happens. The universe will conspire to make things happen, whether you meet somebody, whether you, again, are called to, again, take another course, whether you, again, meet someone that inspires you, that touches you. This is what it means that God helps those that help themselves. You're not helping yourself. And that's, we have to take, a leader to me is someone that takes initiative. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to show up and understand if it's always ethically in alignment with the laws of God, the laws of love, the laws of nature, the laws of universe, all the same thing. You are going to be in alignment. because we know that it's the same exact thing. So again, you always want to be ethical. And so, like I said, what's really preventing you is the lack of effort that you're putting into yourself and not making a choice where you don't need to, no one's telling you to go and invest. That's your thing. I think you, at one time you got really inspired and you sunk a lot of money into something and it just didn't work out. So there's a sense of, I don't want to do that. And Spirit says, no, but you do like to learn. So it starts with something that you're interested in, something that you enjoy. It's again, I don't know, it's just a passion. I wanted to learn it. It's again, one course goes to another course. Oh, wait, I only need 12 courses to do counseling. Oh, I never even thought, oh, I would work at a hotline. Oh, they got me a job working at the suicide hotline. Oh yeah, I talked to Joe. I never thought that I was gonna do this. This would be you, but I talked to Joe off the ledge. He was, he was called up and well, I guess it got to talking and it's like, I don't know, it's very therapeutic. I brought in other things. It's again, you get inspired. Like I said, God makes the way where there is no way. It's about trust. It's a faith walk. And that's why you're trying to figure out everything to be safe before, because of that one situation or those few situations. So Spirit's saying this is about finding yourself dabbling. You can take a course and what would it cost you? It's like at a community college, maybe $1,000, like maybe even a little bit cheaper. It's like, and sometimes they have free courses. You could say, well, I don't even know if I want to invest in that. But it's like, well, there's free things out there. So unless you're gonna invest, it's not gonna ground, you're gonna stay stuck. And you're never gonna see yourself as you are. So Spirit is like, what's really stuck is that you're stuck because you're overthinking. That's what stuck means to me. Spirit descending is again the God part of self, the higher self descends, comes down it gets grounded. There's the unfoldment process that needs to happen. This is again due to the past licking one's wounds. Oh, I feel so bad for myself for again what's happened in the past. When meanwhile God's saying, but this is really his energy. So he's out of alignment with himself. And it's because there's a lack of finding himself. And that's really, so you're trying to put the like horse before the cart, the cart before the horse. And instead where Spirit says, you're doing my job. So as long as you continue to try to do my job, we'll stay stuck. It's like, cause you only know as much as you're gonna know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm actually in I'm in a further development course for my I'm a professional cook. So I just actually took another course to go to the next level. I was a little overwhelmed by it. And I wasn't even sure if I wanted to continue on that line of work. So
I feel like you need something a little bit different that's again spiritually gonna nurture you. That's
yeah,
and
yeah,
no, and I think that you can do both. There's a lot of hours in the day.
yeah.
That's part of it. It's like there's no balance. So you can love something completely and feel like I'm not into it anymore because if that's the only thing on the menu, you're in trouble.
Mm,
It's like you're being called for a bigger spiritual purpose.
yeah. Yeah, because that was there was like no passion in it for me. So that very much makes sense. All that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's like, and your choice of focus is your greatest tool. Sometimes we need to reset. So, and that's
Mm,
okay. And the spirit says there's other things to do. It's like if you really want to be balanced, how do people reinvent themselves as one thing phases out? It's
mm,
like they have other hands in the other pots. And it's like we're supposed to evolve. We're not supposed to stay the same. And
mm,
even me, where spirit says, like for my job, I have to continually create, ground, educate, and it's again like I belong to a TV show that really to train to be a speaker. It's again where like again constantly evolve, constantly evolve, constantly evolve, and that's going to help me travel. because it's again that there's always speaking gigs. I have to pay to get there. However, like I can speak and that gives me credibility. And that's again where I could go to India, I could go to France, I could go to, it's like again through this network. And that's really what it is to get to that opportunity to make it happen. It's like you gotta step into it. You gotta show, and you don't know because the path isn't unfolding. That's why people are like, how did you get through the desert? Yeah, and you this, because again, the path is unfolding. It's like, did I need more emotional support? Yeah, because I'm emotionally needy. I'll admit that. So I got I got a dog. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
have friends. And what I realized is I'm not as emotionally needy as I used to be. It used to be a lot more. And that's how I know emotionally, Myra, if you do what I tell you to do, you will be filled to the top and you'll be like, you'll have everything the way that you want. And that's really, again, for you, because there's a desire, there's a real desire of, I want to break out, well, break free into like something new. And it's evolving. It's a literally unfoldment process. It's a co-creation process because you're utilizing broken structures. I mean, things that are like, I mean, I taught down at the library for free for like 3 years. Like literally, I was like the hit at the fucking library. You know what I mean? And God says you need to ground. It's like, and I was like, and I had to teach for free. It was like I used to charge for those, read those classes, spirit says, yeah, and I don't know because you weren't really that good. But anyway, you know, like you're gonna master it and you have to prove yourself. You moved to St. Augustine. This is a different area from New York City. You have to prove yourself. You have to ground yourself. No one's gonna come to you. Your business will die. You have no choice. You have to ground. You want to see yourself different, you have to do something different. You want something different, you got to become something different. But we don't get rid of the baby with the bathwater. The cooking is good. It's a creative release. You do love it. I'm not gonna argue with you that you don't dislike it. It's just that's the only thing on the menu. And I'm a little tired with the fucking menu. I'm tired of meatloaf. You know, I want spaghetti. I want something else. I'm tired of whatever this is. I need a change. And Spirit says, well, you're supposed to. Otherwise, you're living too safe. And again, and that's a fear-based consciousness, and you will attract crazy. Because then Spirit says, oh, well, since you're too docile, we're going to bring crazy Josephine to you. And she's going to like make your life a living hell for a few months. So you just spice up your life this way. You know, you'll hold on to it though, because you'll say, hey, it's better than nothing. At least I'm getting something emotionally. And Spirit says, yeah, that didn't need to last as long as it did. The menu is just tired. And that's and what makes the menu is not just what you're embodying, but it's who you're connecting to. The different energy. It's like, otherwise, why am I showing up here? What am I doing here? Like, what am I? It's like I'm trying to, you know, you want to give value. Do you want to get value? You want to give value. You want, it's again, that's what it's about. Otherwise, it's like, what are you doing? And that's why it's like, it's not a thing. It's that living too safe. And I might not like it. And Spirit says, you wouldn't like this? Why you always like it before, but all of a sudden you're not gonna like it? Well, I don't know if I want to give up that Tuesday, every Tuesday. And Spirit says, oh yeah, because sitting on the couch is just so much better, you know? And watching that and watching Law and Order again it's where Spirit's saying, no, that's not better. It's like we already know what's better. We show up for ourselves. It's like, and that's again because you're much more sophisticated, and that's really what it is. It's like you're not even recognizing like what is coming towards you, and you would if you were again learning psychology and liking it, and if you were in classes like that, like again, spiritual psychology is what I always recommend. I don't recommend psychology, transpersonal psychology. Let me be very clear about that. because transpersonal psychology will help you integrate all that. It's again, if I'm doing it to really understand, otherwise we're just looking at people that are fucked up all day long and we don't want to do that, you know? And otherwise we're just thinking that people are like mean and people are not. It's the way that we deal with the people. Wounded people, it's again, we know that we need to be actually nicer to those people, even though they make it a little bit difficult. So it's again, but we can do it if we're actually at the right level of consciousness ourselves. As our spirit says, we can extend, but we have to, but that's not going to happen for you unless you nurture that second chakra. That second chakra is imbalanced. It's again, that first chakra is imbalanced, but it gets really affected in the second chakra. And that's what we see with everybody on the board here. Is that it's like again just shadows how it unfolded. Well, I live safe, and sometimes emotionally I can get manipulated because I'm living too safe. It's again that it's like it's because they are like my emotional support. So it's like it does, and they always know how to press buttons. And then it's always the default of your own negative chatter. You know, so it, like I said, it's not one or the other, it's both. It's like because you know the cooking thing, you'll need to the cooking thing is going to be demanding. Don't think it's not. I'm getting the information, so I'm going to tell you. It's again the information is going to be more demanding. It's more hours. It's a lot. So you will not be happy unless you get into another form of energy, which is the exact opposite energy, which is I need to sit and just reflect. I don't need to be on. It's like
It's very interesting because every boss that I've had in the last 3 years has been kind of like a two-faced and backstabbing kind of boss.
they
They end
will.
up leaving. I end up still being there, and I always get the next boss who smiles in my face, but always like seems to be stabbing me in the back.
Well, that's the thing. There's a sense of bully, and that's what I said before you came on. That's the reoccurring emotionally, like emotionally. It's like I get the bully, I get the person. It's a malicious energy. It's mean energy. It's like this that nasty energy. Why am I getting it? And spirit says, oh, because great things can happen for you, and people don't like that. It's again, it's jealous. And there's a part of you that doesn't believe that you're deserving of it. So that's what keeps happening. And that's why you get the bully. You know, because there's a sense of, do I deserve it? And spirit says, of course you deserve it. You don't get up and ask for greatness. You get up and take it. You just get up and take it. When it's with your friends, though. Bye, Edith. Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Right. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's about doing things the right way, but still doing them for yourself. Where, like I always tell, like Elmira, like you want to go, you're to go, but understand this family. You know, there's people in your life that will potentially try to emotionally manipulate you. That's why you gotta love yourself enough. You gotta love yourself enough, and you gotta fuel that love with people that love you, that support you, that are gonna help you. And this is one source, but this is only a few times a week. It's only an hour or two, or however many hours, but it's not enough. It's not enough. And even if it was all day long, Spirit says it's unfortunately would not be enough because God says only I'm perfect. So that's a fail if you're only going to use one thing all the time. Because God says, oh, well, then you're not, no, only I'm perfect. Only I can fill that void. Only I'm, so it's again, we don't, and you can get that energy of me, God says, through so many different things and really finding yourself and exploring. And that's how we really integrate our shadows. Otherwise, those old programs continue to play out. and you don't want that. So this is how we use the tarot. Like again, this was we wound up doing a one card and one card with. So now you might say, well, how did you get all that from that? Well, some people memorize the cards. It's like you don't need to do that. To me, again, it's when you think of if a person phrases the energy, the phrase properly, the question properly, sorry, um, it's your intuition just you want more information, it's unclear, you pull another card, you pull another card. You don't need to learn tarot if you're not good with tarot, but then get cards that have words on them. It's again because each card, and there's a Israeli deck that they put a whole like sentence. I have it somewhere because that's what I learned on. And it's again the phrase. And then, but then there's also on Udemy, great tarot classes that some of the best like educators on there about how if you want to refresh, but like just like I said, I recommend getting the cards with the tarot cards with the words on them again, so you learn by seeing and by doing, and again you'll begin to recognize, and then you build your own language, intuitive language. Now, does anyone have any questions? Like I said, if anyone doesn't have the book or the cards, again, send me $5, and again, I will send you everything because the book is important. Like I said, we do a lot of our oracle spreads in here, and you should not even for me, but it's again, how are you consistent? Like if people are doing one card spread, like I had 80, like send me like a like 3-page text message, and then all these questions, and it's like if there it's not phrased properly, if it's not, it's again, there's ways to do it, and it explains how to do it, but understand you'll all have your own unique unfoldment process. Just like if I went to Amira and she saw red, she'd be like, oh, he was mad, I felt mad. I said, why was he mad? Why did you say that? Oh, did you see the color red? That was a dark red. That was a dark red. Where Shayla would be like, well, I actually saw, like, again, another confirmation of angry, like I saw like someone screaming like or whatever. It's like people see different things, but what you'll see is also different what that reader will be called to, what points out. And what we did talk about too is why we do the shadow readings opposed to like regular tarot readings is because again that there's many different levels of consciousness. Your level of consciousness depends on what like where you're at. So when you go and get a reading, if you get a reading from a person that is on a lower vibrational consciousness, because again, they have wounds that they haven't healed, they're going to read from that level. Because a few people asked, hey, a few times I listened to tarot card readings and, like I resonate with them, but then I'll get a reading and then I don't resonate with that, or it's completely different than what, like, again, and why. It's again where one thing is, I believe if you're on a higher consciousness, your higher self already knows it's an intuitive thing where you don't need to read, and really the universe is saying you really shouldn't be depending on other people. You can really, again, you might needed the advice, but hearing the advice, you were like, oh, that sounds right. That's accurate, because you already know that there's a claircognizance knowing. And that's again how you get strong within yourself. And that's imperative in today's times. You want to know who you're dealing with. You need to have good discernment. Does anyone have any questions or anything that I didn't get to tonight?
I'm just sorry I missed like the last couple of sessions, but It's because I'm in Iceland and it's the time difference.
Oh, so you need to send me an email so that I know, so, because listen, I'm gonna have more workshops too. It's like I'm adding more, but the truth of the matter is that I run into a little bit of a dilemma where Scorpio people have been signing up on Virgo, Virgo has been signing up on Gemini, and so the truth of the matter is that I wanted to have it on YouTube. And
Mhm.
I can't have it on YouTube because if Virgo signs up in Scorpio and Scorpio is again, they're not going to get notified and they can't get on for whatever reason.
Wow.
So it's a whole, which I didn't know that. A few times I sent links and they're like, I can't get on. And it's like,
Mhm.
why? A lot of people can get on, but I noticed why. So there's a platform school that reached out to me, and you see when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Like I'm doing it through the Zoom the best way I know how. And God's saying that's kind of like a fail, just so you know. And I'm working with what I got. And I was,
There you go.
and then, but this people reached out to me and they had a funny, like sales pitch. It's like, give me one good reason. If you can like ask the lift, and they do everything. They scale it, they build your audience, they all through your social medias, all through everything. They do everything. And they even do like to do tests to see what would you want to learn. So they're going to ask questions. They're going to say, because that's the, like, I'm right now, I put a lot on Omira. Omira, what's the topic? And what happened is we both fell asleep. So we did not have a topic, so I had to move it till Sunday. And Spirit said that was a fail. And it was like, well, we needed to rest, you know. But so, I mean, listen, we do the best that we can do. And that, but that's where spirit says, well, you should ask what people want to learn. And I said, I do, but he said, not like that. It needs to be done like professionally before people actually are like, they're going to your audience, they're asking your audience, like they're asking, you're giving people that are normally, like, some are not going to answer, but a lot of the people will. And you have someone else do it. I didn't, the guy reached out to me, and then everything was in alignment. I said, I have millions of papers, thousands of them that we're not even using, a lot of them, because I have them everywhere. They put it all together on a platform, so it's going to be easy access for everyone to get to. It's going to be organized, it's going to be structured, it's going to be, and that's really what, because the guy was like, you have the audience, you have the material, you have everything, but I could see that it would probably be very, I said, my fear is it's not going to be able to grow because of all the different platforms. Patreon is too confusing. People don't read. They just sign up on whatever. And it's like, and I'm listen, I got a Chiweenie, not a Chihuahua, because I didn't read the whole word. So no one's more ungrounded than I am. So I know what I do, how many times I've, you know what I mean? Like, then my dog's getting longer. And I keep saying it was like, it's getting longer and longer and longer and longer. And I was like, it's a Chihuahua. And then I went back to the site. My son goes, Mommy, it's a Chiweenie. He goes, did you not read? He was like, and because he already knows me. One time I ordered a dresser and I don't measure. I tried to eyeball it and it came and it was like a miniature. He goes, Mommy, did you measure it? Or did you eyeball it? I said, I eyeballed it. And he goes, how do you eyeball a picture? And, I was like, and that's how God says, again, we cannot use the psychic brain for those things. It's a grounding issue. So again, mastery comes in doing. We have to learn, but it's like, that's my anxiety. I'm going to do it wrong. I can't measure. It's like stupid crap, muggle shit. Like I have a problem with. But again, it makes me feel inadequate sometimes, where spirit says ground. It's like there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And as long as you try, then I will make a way. And so God sees that I try. but the spirit says, but it's not looking polished or professional. It's like, I mean, and not the material is good, but everything else. It needs to be done in a structured, organized way, and that's not my thing. And that's when you outsource it. And at the right time, the right way comes to you. And that's why I'm saying, and you use your discernment, you're guided. Everything's a co-creation process. That's why I'm saying you got to trust. And that's scary because it's like, oh, you're asking me, and there's so many things. This is my life. This is money. This is like this. And so that's why we do it in baby steps. That's why it's the unfoldment process. Like, listen, a year ago, I signed up for Vimeo. Never used it. It's again, I bought everything like that was gonna, and Spirit says it was a waste of money. You don't even know what the hell you're doing. It's like you gotta find again, let the path. Let the path. Don't make that mistake, Shella. Don't go out and buy everything. Again, allow the path to unfold. It's like, because I wasted a lot of money that way. It's like, do your homework, ground. It's like, again, you're gonna make an Oracle system. It's again, like, make sure that you hire the right people. And there's printing companies that are great to work with. It's all of it. I mean, everything that I did the first time, it was half-assed. I mean, I'm telling you. And it's like, and it doesn't need to be that way. When you have grounding issues, that's usually what it is. It's like, yeah, you did it, but you did it half-assed. There was a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of whatever. And then, you know, people are going to judge you. So you want to set yourself up for success. You don't want people to have preconceived notions that you don't know what you're doing. That's important. I made that mistake in the beginning because I didn't care. It was just like, I'm just doing it. Well, we're winging it. And Spirit says, again, the effort is good, but you got it. And everyone's unfoldment process is different. Anybody have any questions? If not, I'm gonna wind it down just because I gotta check on the little pets, and I didn't do any videos today. I've been like not doing videos every day. I've been trying to do other things as well. But a lot of places that I listen to, a lot of the YouTubers do videos every day. Do you listen to videos every day, or do you listen to videos like once a week? What is your usual?
I usually listen just about every day. I love your Virgo channel. I mean, my birthday was a couple days ago. Well, yeah,
Birthday.
a week ago or so, and it was nice because I celebrated by myself. So let me watch my little Virgo channel here, see what's going on.
I'm glad I celebrated your birthday with you.
Yeah,
You know, that's it. But that's why you need to join something, because you shouldn't be celebrating your birthday watching me on YouTube. You know, so that's a good thing, but it's also a fail. No, get it? Like, it's like, and that's the thing. It's like that's good. I'm glad. Oh, thanks for the hearts. Yay. See that? I feel the love.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So any other questions? If not, I'm gonna run. But I wanted to share that about the new platform and like how things are that I'm gonna have more classes. And then I even think I might have a few of my friends come on, because I have friends that are really talented, and I think that it's important to have guests on, otherwise it's boring. It's different perception, and I have a friend that does great tarot readings. I mean, she's a whiz with tarot. I have another guy he has autism. He was hit by, or not autism, he was actually hit on a motorcycle, like when he was, I mean, so but it sounds like he's autistic, but when you get a reading from him, he's like so direct. He's like very like, yes, and then this is gonna happen, and like, you know, like how he says it, anything else, ma'am? Like, it's very, like, and I know him from Casadega, the spiritual camp that I worked at, he's very good. He's good medium, I have an astrologist, like she does astro astrology. It's different. It's like she does with all the different numbers, numerology also. I have, like, again, just different mediums, because again, we all do different things, and I think that it's fun to do classes with different people, and so the classroom will allow people to come on easier, like to join classes and just have more features. So like I said, I'm meeting with them on Monday. I already met with one guy already, and so, and then we're gonna start right away, and hopefully within the next like month, we'll have something up. But you know, you send me an email and you let me know the time, because I'm not good with time at all. So, and would need to say, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, my time. So if you have something at like 9 o'clock in the morning, my time, it'll be 7 o'clock your time. Like whatever it is, it's like you need to break it down like I'm a child, is what I'm saying. Because I try to Google it. It's not
Mhm.
like I don't try and Google it, but it's always wrong whenever I Google it. And that's why I'm saying it's like you just tell me and I'll do that. All
Okay.
right.
Well, Laura, I probably won't be on next if you have class this Friday because it's my birthday on Friday.
Oh, yeah, no, I won't have it on Friday then. I'll have it again on Sunday. It's
Okay.
like I'll mix it, I'm gonna mix it up, like, or if it's not, like, I don't want to have it on a Saturday night. It's
Yeah.
like, cause it's kind of like, nah, even if it was like Monday and Wednesday, I can
Mhm.
I can mix it up. I told Jeff already I was gonna mix it up a few different days, because everyone's different, and that's why I said that's another problem with why I want to have classes more often. And
Mhm.
because listen, if I'm really building a coaching program so that every channel can go on at one time, I don't want to have more than 20 people on at a time either.
Mhm.
So it's like I would want to have more, and even have more educators on, and to make it colorful. It's like, that's really what it is. It's like, again, make it interesting. Otherwise, I mean, and because eventually I'm supposed to be doing a lot more live streams, and I can only do, you know what I mean? So it's more live streams, and if you are subscribed to me, you get to ask me questions on the live stream. So it doesn't like class, we learn in class. I mean, today, yes, we did reading, but it was more like we learned how to use the oracle cards with a 1-and-1 with the tarot. That was the topic. But
Mhm.
you know, all different things. I want to do more interactive things as well, and the classroom will allow you to have your cards and ask questions. Just, you know, make it easier. So I just wanted to share that. Does anyone like want to share anything or anything? No?
No, no, I want to know, maybe next call, Jeff has to tell us about Iceland. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go there, so.
Yeah,
Well,
we may be like going to visit you, Jeff, and like showing up and being like, hey, like, you know, because I'm looking to travel a little bit too. So I'm gonna be pushing myself if you want on my YouTube people. And Omira, you can come with me. You're my
Yes, sure, for sure.
she holds my,
bring it.
yeah, like that thing will show up too, so don't push it. Like, let me tell you, okay? Don't think
Well,
I
you see the
won't.
you see the picture behind me. That's from tonight. I took that picture tonight.
Wow,
Oh,
that's
what is
beautiful.
it? What is it? Oh, I
It's
know the Northern Lights, right? Is that the North?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah, I've always wanted to go, so it's on my bucket list.
Well, we're going. It's again, Jeff invited us. So we're at a little, you got an extra couch, or do we need to bring the blow up mattress?
Okay, you gotta bring a blow up. I gotta pull out couch.
So you'll be able to tell us where. I'm sure that there's a lot of like hotels and everything there, and that it's not that difficult to do. Listen,
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's
You
it's
got-
always good to know somebody because they'll tell you how to get by on the cheap.
Mhm.
and that's what we want. We want to get by on the cheap, but not too cheap. We don't want to be like and some people can really live really cheap. I mean, I knew this family. They had 13 kids in the family,
Oh
and
gosh.
they went to Disney World. Okay, like sometimes they would leave, and they would actually leave a kid like behind. They would have to go back. Well, they would. They always went to Disney World, and what they would do is they would first go to a hotel. They would lie about how many kids were in the car. They would say that there were only like 3. But meanwhile, there was like so many. And then they would get a room that had like the double beds, and they took the double beds apart. So I have always like that.
Oh my gosh.
And then they also cooked ham and eggs in the
Oh my
There you go.
god.
They brought the whole thing, okay, Elmira? And they went away on vacation. They went to Disney, okay? Like, so they went, so there's a way to go in the cheap. Like,
And imagine with 13 kids.
again, like, but I mean, I almost died when I found out that they took apart the box springs. Like, I said, that can't be comfortable to sleep on the box spring part. Like, who
No.
had to sleep on the
I know. This is the least favorites.
Yeah, you're gonna sleep on the box spring tonight.
Jeez. Crazy.
They must have asked for extra blankets. It gets really cold in here. Can you at least blankets?
Oh my gosh.
People be like, because they don't know. I mean, one time I lied about bringing the dog into a hotel room. Like, that was crazy because it was like, don't bark. Every time you barked, it was like, you're looking at him like this, like, and the poor dog doesn't know what's going on.
Jeez.
Yeah, like the things that you do, right?
Yeah.
It was like driving around. There was no hotel. There was no, and again, there was no place was taking dogs, and we were on the road with the dog. What could we do? It was like what we did was we lied. Like, that's what we did. I mean, it's like it was like Judge Matthews. Times were tough. Had to make
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it is. But I mean, I think I'm gonna have Wednesday again because or maybe like I can't do Tuesday because I have my night show, and Monday's too soon. So I think I always like to have Wednesday to again, and then eventually, like I said, every time I put one up, I don't expect you always to be on because eventually I'll be adding more. And that's the beauty of it. You can miss 2, you can miss 3, but you can return
Mhm.
and you can get notified to be on a live stream and still participate because you are a subscriber. It's like that's the whole point for me. Yeah, I would prefer, I'd like for people to do the shadow healing because I feel like it's helpful. It's a way to stay spiritually clean. It's a way to stay on the path. It's like having spiritual hygiene is important.
Very much so.
Yeah, it helps us to really like balance ourselves out because we live in imbalance. So Thanks for joining. I'm gonna go because I'm worried about my puppy. It's like he likes to crap all over the house. It doesn't matter if I have the door open. It doesn't matter, but we got him not to crap on the carpet anymore. So it's like, come on, man, the door is open. That's what I was saying.
Okay. Have a good night. Glad to see you.
You too. Thanks, guys. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Night.
Bye.